created isn't really a problem for him. He's a guy with nothing in his life, more or less living paycheck to paycheck.
Before John Woo created cinema's most underrated time travel thriller, Paycheck was dismissed as convoluted and impossible to follow by critics.
I never worked here, I never saw anybody, I never was here. I got it. Is my paycheck ready? Alrighty.
Who missed its sophisticated exploration of free will and predestination. The cast has finally revealed secrets that will transform your understanding of the film that predicted surveillance capitalism.
And John, I think, wanted to do and direct the movie in a way that was like some of the classic Hitchcock thrillers in the sense.
An algorithmic future prediction while hiding Philip K. Dick's darkest questions about whether knowledge of the future destroys the ability to change it.
We have a scene where she realizes that he actually doesn't remember her, because I think that just like a woman, it would boggle your mind.
The Philip K. Dick story. Nobody understood. What most fans don't realize is that Paycheck was based on Philip K. Dick's short story about whether seeing the future locks you into a predestined path or enables you to change it. The film's complex temporal paradoxes weren't confusing plotting mistakes. They were faithful adaptation of Dick's exploration of determinism versus free will that challenged audience assumptions about cause and effect. Ben Affleck revealed years later his struggle to understand the time loop logic. I kept asking John Woo to explain how the envelope items worked, if my character couldn't remember choosing them. The paradox was that future me saw what items I'd need and left them for past me. But past me had no memory of being future me. It hurt my brain. The actor's confusion mirrored audience bewilderment. Dean Devlin disclosed that the screenplay went through numerous rewrites trying to make the temporal logic comprehensible. Every draft tried different approaches to explaining how Michael knew what items to put in the envelope before he erased his memory. We finally accepted that full explanation was impossible. You had to embrace the paradox rather than resolve it. The narrative complexity was feature rather than bug. John Woo noted how American audiences struggled with the philosophical questions. In Hong Kong cinema, audiences accept paradoxes and metaphysical concepts more readily. American viewers wanted clear cause and effect, but Dick's story deliberately challenged linear thinking. The confusion was intentional. It made audiences experience the protagonist's disorientation. The cultural disconnect affected reception. The envelope items that predicted everything. The 19 seemingly random objects in the envelope weren't MacGuffins. They were perfectly calibrated tools that demonstrated genuine precognition. What the cast revealed about filming these sequences shows how each item was specifically designed to solve problems that hadn't occurred yet, creating intricate puzzle that rewarded close attention to temporal cause and effect. The decision to make the items appear random before revealing their purpose created mystery that drove the narrative. Audiences initially think the items are meaningless. A paperclip, sunglasses, a key, disclosed production designer William Sandell. The pleasure comes from discovering that each one serves specific crucial purpose that Michael's future self calculated precisely. The envelope was proof of genuine future knowledge. Ben Affleck noted how filming scenes with the items required understanding their future purpose. I had to play Michael figuring out each item's use in the moment, while also suggesting that future me had deliberately chosen it for this exact situation. The performance required thinking simultaneously in past, present, and future tenses. The temporal complexity challenged conventional acting approaches. The envelope's most profound item was the key that led to nothing material, but represented the choice to reject the paycheck. The key didn't open anything physical. It opened Michael's understanding that some futures should be prevented rather than accepted, revealed the writers. That item was metaphorical rather than practical, which many viewers missed because they expected purely functional objects. The memory erasure that nobody questioned. The film's central premise that scientists would willingly erase their memories for money wasn't science fiction fantasy. It predicted non-disclosure agreements and corporate amnesia that now dominate tech industry. What the cast revealed about this concept shows how the film anticipated surveillance capitalism and proprietary knowledge protection that makes workers complicit in their own exploitation. The decision to make memory erasure a voluntary commercial service rather than forced punishment reflected contemporary corporate practices. Companies were already making employees sign NDAs and non-compete agreements that legally prevented them from using their own knowledge, disclosed screenwriter Dean Devlin. Memory erasure was just logical extension of corporate control over worker knowledge and intellectual property. Uma Thurman revealed her character Rachel's horror at the memory erasure industry. Rachel sees the ethical nightmare of people selling their own memories and experiences for money. She represents moral voice questioning whether any paycheck is worth losing parts of your life and identity. Her relationship with Michael forces him to consider what he's actually sacrificing. The character embodied audience concerns. Aaron Eckhart noted how his villain, Rethric, justified the memory erasure as consensual. Rethric argues that workers choose to participate and are compensated well. But consent under economic pressure isn't true freedom, and the power imbalance makes the system exploitative regardless of legal consent. The film critiqued gig economy exploitation before it became dominant economic model. The prescient corporate critique was ahead of its time. The machine that destroyed free will. The time-seeing machine wasn't just plot device, it was philosophical weapon that eliminated human agency by making the future visible and therefore fixed. What the production team revealed about this concept shows how the film engaged with determinism debates and whether knowledge of future events makes them inevitable or provides opportunity to prevent them. The machine's ability to show exact future sequences created the film's central paradox about predestination. If you see your future, does that lock you into that timeline or give you chance to change it? Disclosed John Woo. The film suggested both simultaneously. Michael used knowledge of the future to change it, but his actions to change it were themselves predicted by his future self. The loop was unbreakable. Ben Affleck revealed the psychological implications of seeing your own future. Michael watches himself die in multiple timelines and has to figure out how to avoid those fates. But the knowledge itself affects his choices, which means he's always acting on information from futures that may no longer be possible. The machine destroyed his free will by making every choice a reaction to future knowledge. The existential trap was complete. The action sequences that defied logic. John Woo's signature balletic violence created elaborate set pieces that seemed disconnected from the story until you understood the temporal mechanics. What the stunt coordinators revealed about choreographing these sequences shows how each action beat was backwards engineered from future knowledge that made impossible victories logically inevitable. The motorcycle chase, where Michael uses envelope items to escape pursuers, was choreographed to make the seemingly random objects into perfect weapons. Every item had to appear useless until the exact moment it became essential, disclosed the stunt team. The sunglasses protect from explosion, the paperclip defeats the handcuffs, the hairspray becomes flamethrower. The action proved that Michael's future self had perfect knowledge of what would be needed. Ben Affleck noted how Woo's style emphasized the predetermined nature of events. John shoots action in slow motion with operatic intensity because everything that happens was already fated. The balletic quality suggested that characters were performing choreographed dance rather than improvising responses. The style reinforced the theme that free will was illusion. The aesthetic choices served philosophical purposes. The surveillance state. It predicted the film's depiction of omnipresent cameras, facial recognition, and predictive algorithms wasn't science fiction. It was accurate prediction of surveillance capitalism. What the cast revealed about the technology shows how Paycheck anticipated the surveillance state and data-driven prediction that would emerge within a decade of release. The retinal scanners and biometric identification throughout the film predicted ubiquitous surveillance that tracks movement and identity. When we made the film, this technology existed but wasn't widespread, disclosed production designers. Now, facial recognition, retinal scanning, and biometric tracking are standard security measures that track everyone constantly. The film's surveillance dystopia became mundane reality. The machine's ability to predict future events through data analysis anticipated algorithmic prediction and AI forecasting. Cambridge Analytica, predictive policing, and social media algorithms that predict behavior are exactly what the film's machine represented, noted technology critics. The film showed that predicting human behavior eliminates privacy and agency, which is exactly what surveillance capitalism achieves. Uma Thurman revealed the film's warnings about data collection. Every camera and scanner in the film was gathering information that could be used for prediction and control. Rachel understood that the surveillance infrastructure enabling the machine would persist even after the machine was destroyed. The film warned that once surveillance systems exist, they'll be used for control regardless of original intentions. The pessimistic warning proved accurate, the John Woo style that confused everyone. John Woo's elaborate action choreography and dramatic slow motion seemed at odds with the cerebral Philip K. Dick material until you understood the thematic connection. What the director revealed about his approach shows how the operatic action style reflected the predestined nature of events and the character's inability to escape fate through violence or skill. John Woo disclosed his deliberate choice to make action sequences feel choreographed rather than spontaneous. I wanted every fight and chase to feel like dance that had been rehearsed because metaphorically it had been. Michael was acting out predetermined events he'd already foreseen. The balletic quality wasn't just my style, it reinforced the theme that free will was illusion. The signature doves appearing throughout the film weren't just Woo's trademark. They symbolized peace and freedom that characters sought but couldn't achieve. The doves represented the free will and innocence that the surveillance state and future-seeing machine destroyed, revealed the symbolism. They appear in moments of violence to emphasize what's being lost. Critics who dismissed the action as excessive missed how it served the story. The elaborate set pieces weren't gratuitous. They demonstrated the precision of Michael's future knowledge, noted film analysts. Every successful action beat proved that he'd seen exactly what would happen and planned accordingly. The box office failure that wasn't surprising. Paycheck's disappointing $117 million worldwide gross against a $60 million budget represented modest profit but failed to establish franchise or vindicate the complex storytelling. What the cast revealed about the commercial reception shows how the film's cerebral approach and convoluted plotting prevented it from connecting with mainstream audiences who wanted straightforward action. The film's Christmas 2003 release positioned it against Return of the King and other holiday blockbusters that overwhelmed the market. We opened the same week as the final Lord of the Rings film, which was suicidal scheduling, disclosed studio executives. The target audience was watching hobbits destroy the ring rather than contemplating temporal paradoxes and surveillance capitalism. Ben Affleck's career was at transitional point between action star and serious director, which affected his box office draw. Ben was already pivoting toward directing and taking fewer action roles, noted industry observers. His lack of enthusiasm for traditional action vehicles was apparent, which made marketing the film around his star power difficult. Watch the film again with appreciation for its sophisticated temporal paradoxes, its prescient warnings about surveillance capitalism and algorithmic control, and its exploration of whether free will can exist when the future is visible. Notice how the envelope items create perfect causal loop and how the action sequences demonstrate the inevitability of predetermined events. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into science fiction that predicted our technological dystopia with uncomfortable accuracy. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our latest uploads, and let us know in the comments whether you think free will is possible in the age of predictive algorithms. What would you choose if you knew your future?